Law Brothers at 800-222-2222. You don't need a pen.
Too bad for you.
KTLA Plus. Download it free today.
Love how I do it. Yeah.
Now at noon, the Supreme Court takes up the question of transgender athletics. Their decision could alter public education. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Today, the High Court is hearing a pair of cases about the transgender athletes in public schools.
The court's ruling will eventually decide if those athletes can participate in sports teams opposite of their biological gender. KTLA 5's Samantha Cortese live now in the newsroom with more. Samantha.
Hi, Glenn and Lou. Yes, the plaintiffs bringing these cases argue state laws banning transgender women from sports teams of their choosing violates the Constitution. Today's cases come from Idaho and West Virginia, two of the more than 24 Republican-led states that have banned transgender athletes from publicly funded girls' and women's sports teams. The justices are considering claims of sex discrimination brought by transgender women against the need for fair and safe competition for women and girls. That's the main argument made by the states with bans in place on whether these sports bans violate the Constitution or federal law known as Title IX. Title IX prohibits sex discrimination in education. One plaintiff, Becky Pepper Jackson, is a 15-year-old high school sophomore. She was born male. She now identifies as female and has been taking puberty-blocking medication since the age of 8. She is the only transgender person who has sought to compete in girls' sports in the state of West Virginia. In 2020, the Supreme Court ruled transgender people are protected by a landmark federal civil rights law that prohibits sex discrimination in the workplace. But last year, these 6 conservative justices on the 9-member court declined to apply the same sort of analysis when they upheld state bans on gender-affirming care for transgender minors.
Gender identity does not matter in sports, and that's why Idaho's law does not classify on the basis of gender identity. It treats all males equally and all females equally, regardless of identity, and its purpose is exactly what the legislature said, preserving women's equal opportunity.
I don't know how you can say sex classification is not being challenged. There's no question here that a male who identifies as a female, but it's a male, is being excluded from a female sport, correct?
That's correct.
All right. By its nature, that's a sex classification. And all sex classifications, we have said repeatedly in our case law, require intermediate scrutiny.
In Hollywood, LGBTQ+ advocates held a news conference to show solidarity with trans youth. Jenny Pizer is with Lambda Law, co-counsel to Becky Pepper Jackson, the plaintiff. She said the ban is rejecting science.
And in this area, the good reason was the advantages that cisgender boys have when they go through a male puberty. Well, that didn't happen for our client Becky. So that reasoning doesn't apply to our client Becky. She should be allowed to run with her team.
At the center of these cases are teenagers who just want what every kid wants, and that's friendship, acceptance, and the chance to grow.
Legal experts say the court's final decision will redefine Title IX protections nationwide. The justices will likely release their decision with many others this spring. In the newsroom, Samantha Cortese, back to you.
All right, thank you, Samantha. Authorities are searching for a suspected arsonist after a minivan was set on fire outside a local Islamic center last night. It involved a Toyota Sienna parked on San Julian Street near Olympic Boulevard. LA City firefighters quickly extinguished the flames. The vehicle owner says that he was inside the center when his van was set on fire. Now, surveillance video shows a masked suspect walking up to the van, crouching down by the left rear tire, then running away. Moments later, smoke rises from the tire before the minivan catches on fire.
Family members and activists are demanding answers after a man was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE officer in Northridge. KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is live in downtown Los Angeles, where they pled their case to the LA Police Commission today. Hi, Kimberly.
Lou, hi. Another recess was called at the police commission meeting just a short while ago due to disruptions. Many people were upset that there wasn't enough time allotted for everyone to speak. There were still about 20 people signed up for public comments as of this afternoon. Now, take a look at this video from earlier this morning. You can see it was a packed house. A large number of the people there were family members and supporters calling for justice for 43-year-old Keith Porter Jr., who was killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Dozens of people spoke to the 5-member police commission earlier this morning, which sets policies and oversees LAPD operations with the police chief. Porter's cousin was among the speakers.
Keith was one of the most loving, kindest people on this earth. When are we going to press charges on this murder? When is he going to be named? When is he going to be arrested? That officer was never told to surrender his service weapon. He was never given a sobriety check. We don't know what kind of drugs or alcohol he was on in his home alone, celebrating New Year's Eve. He was never taken down for proper interrogation.
The shooting happened on the 17,700 block of Roscoe Boulevard in Northridge. It was New Year's Eve. The unidentified Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent was off duty at the time. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said the agent bravely responded to an active shooter situation at the apartment complex. The LAPD is investigating the shooting. Supporters and families say Porter was not an active shooter. To the air to celebrate New Year's Eve. His cousin called it a mistake. More from what she had to say at today's meeting. Take a listen.
The night that my cousin lost his life, procedures were followed. No procedures were followed by an off-duty officer that found someone as a perceivable threat because there was no perceivable threat. I believe the first story that he told, that he heard the shots, he went outside, saw my cousin, and shot him to disarm him.
We need police accountability, not qualified immunity.
Supporters and family today calling for accountability, as you heard, a thorough investigation, and they're also demanding that the agent's name be released publicly. For now, reporting live in downtown LA, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. A suspected drunk driver accused of hitting and killing an 18-year-old Loyola high school student has pleaded not guilty to murder charges. Police say that 33-year-old Jania Resha Belt driving with a suspended license because of his drunk driving arrest back in 2020 when she allegedly struck Braun Levy. This happened in Manhattan Beach in May of last year as Levy was crossing Sepulveda Boulevard at Rhonda Drive. Belt is charged with 1 felony count of murder and 1 felony count of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. She's facing 15 years to life in state prison and remains behind bars on $2 million bail.
Turning now to developing news at UCLA, where campus police are investigating an alleged sexual assault.
Yeah, investigators say it happened at a fraternity over the weekend, but they're not releasing much more information. KTLA 5's Alina Abovian is talking to students, and she joins us now from Westwood. Alina.
Good afternoon. Well, we don't know exactly what happened, but the victim claims she was unable to give consent. And that is why this is being investigated as a potential sexual assault. Now, take a look behind me. It happened here off the campus of UCLA, but on Fraternity Row at one of the fraternity houses. It was around midnight Sunday, the 600 block of Landfair Avenue. UC police say the alleged suspect is unaffiliated with UCLA, adding the incident appears to be an isolated case. The original alert also incorrectly stated that the incident occurred at the 600 block of Gailey Avenue. At this point, there is no suspect information, but an email was sent out to students to be on alert.
It's an issue that a lot of students are worried about because a lot of details, there was only 1 or 2 sentences. And so as we continue trying to find out more information on what exactly happened, because we don't know if they're not a student, because it said they're not affiliated with the university. So we just want more details on what happened so we can prepare and protect ourselves.
Now, the nature of this alleged sexual assault is still unclear. Was the victim a student? Was she under the influence? Was she intoxicated? All that is still part of the investigation. But if you have any information, you're urged to contact authorities. Live here in Westwood, I'm Lena Bovian, KTLA 5 News.
Alina, thank you. And we're also seeing new aerial images of how communities look 1 year after the devastating Southern California wildfires. This is satellite imagery from Altadena. On the left shows the scene from January 21st, 2025, and on the right shows December 1st. The image shows the most hard-hit community of homes in that area. And now to the images of Pacific Palisades. This image shows the mountain areas surrounding the Palisades. On the left shows the scene from January 14th, 2025. The right shows December 20th. There's also a look at the Palisades Village. You can see the dramatic change in color 1 year later.
All right, let's get it over to Casey. It's kind of nice not to have to wear a jacket or sweater.
Yeah, it is. Winter in SoCal, definitely not like it is in other parts of the country. So we'll see a lot of sunshine for the rest of the week as high pressure continues to dominate the entire weather pattern of the West Coast. It's 72 right now in Van Nuys, 76 in Los Alamitos, 80 in Camarillo, and 75 degrees in Murrieta. So we do still have this wind advisory for this wind corridor, LA and Ventura County. That'll be with us until tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Temperatures today will be warmer for 68 in Palmdale, 72 for Newhall today, 78 for Woodland Hills, 78 for Santa Monica, 82 in Bellflower, 79 for Diamond Bar, and in the Inland Empire this afternoon, 78 for San Bernardino. Back to you.
All right, more still to come on a KTLA 5 News at noon.
Including KTLA 5's Annie Rose Ramos.